head coach Dennis Green.
Thanks, Mike. And, Coach, most preseason prognosticators pick your team to finish near the bottom of the division. But tonight, you have a chance to be the first team to clinch a playoff berth. I got to ask you, what did you know that the rest of us didn't?
Well, we thought we'd have a good football team. We've got about 14, 15 starters back from our 1998 team. We've got a great group. I think we have good balance between our special teams, offense, and defense. So, we're hoping we can continue winning at home, which is what we've done so far.
Now, a lot has changed for the Detroit Lions. It's your 7-point win in Week 5. Is this a different Detroit Lions football team right now?
I think they're playing better on offense. I think on defense, they've still got the really good front with the linebackers and their defensive front. So they're a good team. Anytime you're 8-4 after 12 games in the National Football League, you're a very good football team.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. Well, so far this season, the Vikings have made all the right moves. But according to Chris Carter, they still have a few more steps to take.
Step 1 is to win your division, get in the playoffs. Step 2 is secure home field advantage. If you can get home field advantage, then your opportunity to be in Tampa January 28th are great.
Let's just make it. Let's go!
You heard about Benny the Bison?
No, what?
He never checked out the risk and overall performance of those mutual funds he bought.
Well, Benny's no brain surgeon, right?
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we created a smarter kind of investor with tools like the Schwab Select List, which highlights historically high-performing mutual funds. Visit schwabwelcome.com to order a free copy of the Select List.
You don't do your homework, you end up looking ridiculous.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
All he does is make 1,000 if he gets 5 tonight. Chris Carter trying to join Jerry Rice as the only men ever to do it. His wife Melanie on hand with their children. $9.95 coming into the ball game. And it's a special night. There's Michael Jordan, part of the sellout crowd, hoping to see history made in the Metrodome. Mitch Berger to kick it off, one of the best in the NFL, although his touchback percentage down this year. One of the most dangerous returners in the game, Desmond Howard.
And what they're trying to do, I'm going to tell you, Minnesota's really afraid of Desmond Howard. They're going to try and kick this ball a little bit short so he doesn't have a chance to run it back.
Averaging better than 25 yards a return. Berger, there's the pooch kick. Schlesinger, the fullback, comes up on it and gets it out to the 40-yard line. So the Lions, who lead the NFL in field position starts, start at the 40. Let's check out that Lion offense.
Hi, I'm James Stewart. At quarterback, we got Charlie Batch. Fullback, we got Corey Sledgehammer Schlesinger. We got the wide receivers, Johnny Morton, nicknamed J-Mo. The other wide receiver is Herman Moore. At tight end, we got David Minicalf Sloan. My big old line is Dr. McDougal, Barrett Brooks, Tony Simple, Jeff Hardings, and our center is Mike Big Sexy Cobb.
Batch with those bad ribs throws the screen to Schlesinger, and he'll pick up 3 or 4.
The one thing that the Lions have to be concerned with is the health of Charlie Batch. Whether he's getting sacked or whether he's just taking hits, he can't afford many. I watched him in warm-ups. He's got to protect himself. There's a big shot right in the nose.
Well, to Lance Sawyer, watch it. Dr. McDougal, he's number 73. He's got to get himself out and protect the quarterback. You're absolutely right.
Batch play action. Throws complete. Johnny Morton for the first down. Here's the Vikings defense.
Hi, I'm John Randall, also known as Dr. Dre. Right up front are Mystical Tony Williams, Cash Money to Lance Sawyer, and Kid Rock Chris Hovain. Our linebackers, known as the Bill DeVoe, are Ed McDaniel, Holly Wong, and Gabe Northern.
These guys have turned it into a 15-minute short story.
Lions with trips wide receivers, and now they move Herman Moore. Stewart just back to the line of scrimmage. Let's go back to John Randall for the rest of that defense.
The defensive backs are Robert Top 5 Tate, Kenny Smooth Wright, Robert Griffith, and Tyrone Carter.
Hey, back to you guys, baby! Yeah! 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 Yeah!
Thank you, John.
That's just the way he plays. Yeah, he does.
He's like that 25 hours before a game.
2nd and 10 for Detroit with Minnesota territory at the 45. Stewart straight ahead for a couple, no more. That's Tony Williams who gets up slowly. There's Gary Moeller. Now 3-0 in his stint. He is not an interim head coach. He is the head coach of the Lions. Replaced Bobby Ross, who was a victim of burnout.
Has a 3-year deal.
Yeah, but I like what he said, though. It's really nice when you're winning, you know what?
3-0 cures a lot of ills.
Yeah, it does.
3rd and 8. Cedric Irvin comes in. Blitz coming. Incomplete. They put pressure on Charlie Batch, and the Lions will have to give it up.
Kylie Long, number 52, the linebacker. They did. They blitzed outside. They brought a corner.
And the thing that's almost as important for the Lions is that Charlie Batch gets up after taking those kind of hits. They can't afford to let him have too many, but if he goes to the sideline healthy now, that's a pretty good indicator that he can handle it.
That's Troy Walters waiting for the punt at the 10-yard line. Jet to kick it away, hangs it high. Tip back into the field of play, and Walters has it. What a play by Troy Walters. He's got a chance. And out of bounds. Holy cow, what a play.
You know what's amazing about this play? The run is sensational. The heads-up football of Troy Walters. But the amazing part about it, when he catches that ball, Joe, he can run all the way down. If he would have fumbled the ball down there and Detroit would have gotten it, the ball would have come all the way back where he got it because Detroit touched it first.
Boy, you're right, Paul. The heads up, not only just him, but look at his teammates pick up the wall ahead of him. And there we saw a shot of his dad, who just has to be thrilled with what his young son has done.
A 62-yard return, and the Vikings allowed to start from the Lions' 34. Culpepper on first down, great protection underneath, and Chris Carter with 1 of the 5. He's now up to 996. The crowd didn't need anything to get fired up, but that did it.
There they are, taking the numbers away.
Well, you know, we asked yesterday, the coaches and everybody, you know, how are you going to get the ball to them? And they all just said, it's in the game plan. There's nothing special. It'll be in the game plan.
2nd and 2 for Minnesota. Carter. 2 plays, 2 catches. Here's the Vikings offense.
I'm Corey Stringer. The QB, Dante Culpepper, the high boy. Running back, Robert Smith. The big fullback, Jimmy Kleinsasser. The wide receivers, the Reverend Chris Carter. The freak, Randy Moss. Tight end, Johnny McWilliams. Joining me at the tackle is Big Ty Stoops. The guards, Corbin Lucina and the New Zealand Nightmare, Dave Dixon. Matt Burgess, the center from Harvard.
Corey, thank you very much. Robert Smith with his first carry and inside the 20. Here's the Lions defense.
I'm Robert Porcher. Joining me tonight on defense, we have Tracy Scroggins at end. The big guys up front are James Jones and Luther Ellis. At linebackers, we have Alan Aldridge, Chris Claiborne, and Steven, the ladies love me, Boyd. In the secondary, we have Brian Westbrook, Terry Fair at corners. And our safeties are Corin Brown and Kylin Supernova. Back to Mike, Joe, and the legend, Mr. Paul McGuire.
Oh, my
He's been
goodness.
upgraded to legend. Robert, thank you.
Goodness me.
The check is in the mail, Robert.
Culpepper, blitz coming, wide open up the middle. Culpepper to the 10.
For the last couple of weeks, Dante Culpepper has not run the football very much. As a matter of fact, he's only run it 3 times in the last 2 weeks. Coach Green explained today, he said, against this defense, as good as they are up front, he's going to have to run a lot more. That was not a designed quarterback draw, but when he gets the chance tonight, he's going to take off and go.
And Culpepper now within 2 yards of Fran Tarkenton's single-season rushing record for a quarterback. And there is Francis, member of the 40th anniversary team on here tonight. Smith to the 6.
The closer you get to the goal line, the one thing that really you have to be conscious of if you're the Lions is the matchup that you're going to have on Randy Moss. They make no secrets about the fact that they feel like you get the ball to Randy anywhere near him in the end zone, he's going to go up and make a play. Just depends on who they want to match up against him and how the Vikings want to try and give him the opportunity to get in the end zone.
2nd and goal. Blitz coming. Culpepper gets outside it and throws it away. Carter, the closest man to it.
Troy Walters, thinking about the great return he made. It just, you know, Paul, you really hit it. It's the heads-up nature of knowing what's going on the field. He knew that he could take off and run with it, and no matter what, it was going to be an improvement over the field position. Of course, there's his dad, linebacker coach. Promised him he wouldn't be too demonstrative.
No hugs.
No hugs.
Only on a touchdown.
That's right.
Only on a touchdown, they'll hug.
Almost had one.
3rd and goal. Culpepper short set to Moss. He's got it at the 1.
Well, Randy Moss has decided already for Denny Green. Let's go for it. It's 4th down, and he doesn't throw the ball up in the air. Randy really doesn't get in the end zone enough. He lets the ball go too quickly, and Bryant Westbrook makes the tackle.
Yeah, but look at how Moss blocks out Westbrook. Westbrook doesn't have a chance to get to the ball, but what he does do is he makes the tackle and keeps him from getting a touchdown.
And
they can't afford
Westbrook
this.
is the injured player. They are already so thin in the secondary. Westbrook tied for 3rd in the NFL with 6 interceptions. We'll check on him in a moment.
Well, it's Christmas time, everybody.
Is out. The free safety, Ron Rice. The other safety is out.
When you have a 260-pound quarterback, sneaks aren't bad.
4th and goal. Robert Smith. Touchdown. Got the ball across the plane.
Or if you have Robert Smith, Joe. But Robert Smith, you talk about heads up. Here's down the line. Watch the ball. All it has to do is break the plane. It breaks the plane there.
You know something?
Boy, is that close.
He didn't have possession of the ball when it breaks the plane. This is not a touchdown. I believe that that ball is knocked out of his hands before he gets to the end zone.
Boy, and did they hurry to get that extra point off. There's a marker down on it. Joe, that's an excellent point. That came loose.
I don't believe this is a touchdown. Watch as he heads towards the goal line. Watch how the ball gets knocked out. You must have possession going in. That ball is not on the goal line, in my opinion, when he gains possession.
Offense number 91, 10-yard penalty, retry.
Now it's up to the Lions to challenge that.
Yeah, but they had to do it before the extra point was kicked. And that's why they lined up to kick the extra point. Once a play is run, you can't challenge anything.
But the play didn't count.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, when he finally gets control of the ball, it is so close, the nose of that ball.
I would challenge it. I think it's, at this stage, if the opportunity presented itself, I think Coach Moeller should challenge it.
Anderson with now a long extra point and no problem right down the middle. So a great return by Troy Walters results in the first score of the night. Robert Smith gets the touchdown. Kick it away this time, Desmond Howard from the 4. Wrapped up at the 20. Harold Morrow down on special teams makes the stop. 7-0 first quarter. Back to the Metrodome in a moment. That's Bryant Westbrook, and he has ice packed around his left Achilles. A terrible sign for the Detroit Lions. They'll start at their own 20. Batch, nice fake. Plenty of time. Doesn't want to run with those ribs. And takes a hit inbounds from Talance Sawyer. Excuse me, Gabe Northern. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcox. Solly?
Yeah, Mike, the injury to Bryant Westbrook is being called a sprained left Achilles tendon. I overheard the trainer saying that it's a possible rupture. His return is very doubtful. They're going to take him into the locker room. When he came off the field, the head coach, Gary Moeller, said, "What's wrong with it?" He said, "I don't know. I can't move it." Back to you, Mike.
Solomon, that's awful. They are rapidly running out of defensive backs against a team that you can't find enough DBs. Draw play to Stewart. And Stewart takes it up to the 29. Stewart, in the first time that these teams met, had a season-high 123 yards on 20 carries. That's exactly the kind of night they need out of him tonight.
Well, Charlie Batch said to us yesterday, if we're going to win this football game, there's the guy that really has to win it for us, is Stewart. James Stewart has got to get 125 yards.
And they need to get a first down here very badly to keep that Viking offense off the field.
They face 3rd and 2. Cedric Irvin dives for the 30. That'll still be short.
Robert Tate, what a great play by the corner, number 28. I mean, Cedric Irvin comes out. He just took him on and made the tackle right on the spot. Doesn't move. Watch this. This is a corner making the tackle. Here comes Irvin to the outside. Watch here. Bam! And Irvin doesn't move. Really, he's already stopped.
The former wide receiver converted to a defensive back makes a big tackle. John Jett will have to kick. Walters waits at his 30. Pressure on Jett. He gets it out of there. Beauty. Walters from the 17. And drilled as he got to the 27. 12-yard return after a 53-yard punt. Robert Tate with a huge defensive play for the Minnesota Vikings. We're in the nice toasty dome where the Vikings have the ball for the second time. They're up 7-0. Culpepper. Carter to the 37. 3 catches on the night for Chris Carter. That will take him to 998. 2 away from joining Jerry Rice. It's the only 2 receivers in history with 1,000.
You don't make you think, well, they're just dumping him the ball. But just think about this, folks. They just dumped him the ball, and he picked up almost 9 yards. That ain't just a dump.
The other thing is Darnell Walker's up against him now, and he's only 5'8".
Smith, big hole up the middle. Another first down. Kylan Supernaw with the tackle. He's starting for the injured Kurt Schultz.
This is the dilemma that the Lions have defensively. If you want to double cover the wide receivers, that means that you have to deal with Robert Smith and just try and stop him with 7 inside. No one's really done it very well. If you bring the safety down to try and put somebody at the line of scrimmage, then you wind up with short corners on tall receivers, and they'll throw those little hitches in front of them all day.
Mo Williams, number 21, is checked in to give Robert Smith a breather. Culpepper to throw. Dumps it off. Into Lion territory at the 46. Stephen Boyd makes the tackle on Williams. Dante Culpepper. Everybody thought Dennis Green was crazy when he got rid of Jeff George and Randall Cunningham and said this young man who has not thrown a pass in the NFL is now my starter. He is putting up Dan Marino, Kurt Warner type numbers in his first year as a starter.
Well, even Chris Carter, when we talked to him the other day, he said, yeah, we thought he was crazy too. The coach was nuts. What are you doing?
I'll tell you what's not crazy is to throw the ball deep to Randy Moss on 2nd and short and let him make a play on it.
Culpepper pumps, looks deep. Moss can't get it. Turned late and had trouble finding the ball. Darnell Walker was there. Nice call, Joe.
Well, he was going to Chris Carter first.
Dante Culpepper goes to the left. You see, Randy Moss just sort of jogs. Now all of a sudden he knows he's got it. Dante Culpepper actually throws this ball over the wrong shoulder. If he'd have just let him down the middle, he would have been able to make the play. But watch this, will go right through, almost through his hands. But the ball is thrown to the right, when if it was thrown a little bit more to the left, I believe he'd have had it.
3rd and inches. Smith lowers his shoulder and has the first down at the 44.
Marksman Shanahan and Fedorov and the Red Wings battle scoring machine Pavel Bure and the Panthers. Every game is a story. Red Wings Panthers, Friday at 8 on ESPN.
That's Red McCombs, the owner of the Vikings. He and his lovely wife Charlene were extremely kind to us before the game. They brought us this cake to congratulate us on our 200th NFL broadcast.
What a class act he is.
It's
so great.
He is so kind and so considerate of other people. Just nice to be around, he and his wife. He said they're going to run the table. And right now, it'd be tough to bet against them, wouldn't it?
Yep. Larry's beeper went off.
You know, the one thing about the Detroit Lions defense, and we're talking about all these defensive backs that are missing, a lot of teams, and you hear us talk week in and week out about they're in a nickel situation. That's 5 defensive backs. And then they have dime.
And that's the situation that Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator, was faced with.
Buzzer went off accidentally. First down.
Kurt Schultz just relegated to an observer tonight.
Well, as you say, they go to a dime, and when they go to a dime, they don't have a dime.
They don't have a dime, and they don't have
a nickel.
Ron Rice isn't in there to make that dime complete.
Schultz is out. Rice is out. Westbrook has been hurt, and now Charlie Batch going to the tunnel. Badly bruised ribs in his last game. The situation just getting worse and worse for the Lions. Blitz coming. Culpepper spins out of trouble. Stephen Boyd after him, got a hand on him, but couldn't make the tackle. Culpepper is exceedingly strong.
You saw 2 outstanding football plays by 2 different people. First of all, the move of Dante Culpepper as he feels the pressure coming from the right. The quick little spinner out. Now watch what Stephen Boyd does. He doesn't flail at him. He comes under control and just tries to grab him and make him throw the ball away.
Culpepper, first-round draft choice a year ago, listed at 266 pounds.
And every pound of it, too.
Draw play to Smith. Gaping hole up the middle for Robert Smith. To the Lions' 27-yard line. A gain of 17.
Well, Walker saves, and I don't know if it would have been a touchdown or not because Robert Smith stumbled as he was trying to make a move. Corey Stringer just gets an outstanding block. He's number 77. Look at this block on Porsche. He knocks him inside. Watch this hole open up. That's just an outstanding hole.
Stringer has been playing at a consistently high level from that right tackle spot. And Smith, number 2 in the NFL in rushing yardage coming in.
I think it's time to get Chris Carter the ball again.
Still, they'll give it to Kleinsasser for a rare carry for him. Drags Claiborne with him inside the 25.
This has to be the biggest quarterback-fullback combination in the history.
How about O-line? Quarterback-fullback
They do. They have the biggest offensive line, when I say the biggest, more weight than anybody in the National Football League, the Minnesota Vikings. The biggest quarterback, the biggest fullback.
Big is a good term for everybody.
Yeah, and then old Robert Smith back there behind all that stuff smiling.
Kleinsasser's 279. Blitz coming. Culpepper. Carter tried to one-hand it, couldn't make the catch.
He mistimed his jump.
Did you see him try to take? I mean, he practices this, folks. The one-handed catch. He practices it all the time.
He's actually making it harder than it has to. He just mistimes his jump. See how he has to try and hang in the air? Now, we have Michael Jordan in the house. If that was him, he'd be up there a little bit longer.
Being covered by a safety, Kywin Supernaw. There's Michael.
Michael's saying, hey, look, I can hang up there a little bit more.
As he's saying, you got to have hang time.
3rd and 6. Culpepper wide open as Walsh, first down. Well, you can cover Moss. You can cover Carter. You can cover Smith out of the backfield. You cover all those guys, somebody's open.
Not only that, Mike, but when you start losing corners and safeties like Rice and Schultz and Westbrook, Denny Green's offense can pick on that secondary because, in truth, those guys haven't had a chance to work very much together. And Sherm Lewis has the liberty of going to all those star receivers and guys that he slides in to make first downs.
Under a minute to go, first quarter. Vikings marching again. And the Lions come across early. Kelvin Pritchett, number 93. The first man, a little pushing and shoving afterward. We'll see the call.
Encroachment. Number 93. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Joseph, if Minnesota goes up by 14, and Charlie Batch, we saw him go to the locker room. 14 points puts you in a passing mode. Well, I mean, you don't really get away from your running game. I don't think you can.
If Charlie Batch doesn't come out to play, then we see ESPN's Stoney Case. Every time Stoney's on a team, we wind up having him in a game.
1st and 5 down for Minnesota. Smith the single setback.
He's got single on Randy right now.
Culpepper looking that way. Carter at the 5. Chris Carter now 1 catch away from 1,000.
And wouldn't it be fitting? We saw Jerry Rice's 1,000th catch, okay? That was a touchdown. Wouldn't it be fitting if he got one as well?
Well, Joe, that's all he does is catch touchdowns. Chris Carter, $9.99. The Vikings 7-0 over the Lions. 89 and counting. 4 catches. First quarter of this game. They came out early and fed him the football. First over the middle from Dade Culpepper. Then a hitch to the right side. Another hitch. And then the last catch, which ended the quarter, gave the Vikings a 1st and goal at the Lion 4.
That last catch and that throw was just a little bit too easy.
You know, if there's any way that you call a play, I think you give Chris a shot on this play here. Somehow, some way.
He's in the slot on the right. Culpepper. Carter. Touchdown. What a way to do it. His wife, Melanie, his daughter, Monterey, his son, Duran. Monterey gets the football. 1,000 for Chris Carter.
Those are tears of joy, folks.
From the coach as well as the player. There's two men that have so much faith and belief in one another and have leaned on one another ever since Chris got here and played for Denny Green. He's in the slot on this play. You just got to believe that this is the one they wanted to call. Just head for the corner, Chris. I'll hang it up in the air on you. You've got a safety on you in Super Gnaw. There's no way he's going to cover you. Not at this moment.
Is it any more fitting to have this throw into the corner?
Oh, it's going to look like a great picture on a poster, too.
It's perfect.
You know, it's just a great poster shot when they do all the stills of it.
Gary Anderson in to attempt the point after.
The point after is good. There's a marker down. Chris Carter overwhelmed by the moment. The penalty is declined. It's 14-0. Chris Carter has done it. He and Jerry Rice have joined the 1,000-catch club. Carter and his wife, Melanie.
They have the countdown in the Metrodome. You know, from the beginning of the season at 9:30, you get 9:40, 9:50. And it really wasn't a big deal. Then when it hit 9:90, I was like, wow.
Wow is right. 1,000 for his career. Desmond Howard, 2 yards deep. Cut down at the 15-yard line. Chris Carter needed 5 catches to reach 1,000. He had 4. This was number 5 for the touchdown to get to 1,000 for his career. Just remarkable.
Stoney Case at quarterback, 1st and 10 at the 16.
Stoney Case is the Lions' new quarterback. They must be shell-shocked at this point. Larry Foster makes the catch. One of the great privileges of being in this business is being able to be part of something like this. It's great.
Well, we had a chance to see Jerry's. Now we get a chance to see Chris's. I was with Chris on the field before the game, and he started to swell up, and he looked at me and he said, it's really starting to hit me. And then he said, I feel like I'm out of my body watching all this. I can't believe it's real.
Stoney Case on the roll, throws underneath. Got the completion up near the 30. Paul, we've known Chris Carter for a lot of years. You like to see the good stuff happen to guys like Chris.
Yeah, you get a little emotional yourself. You know, and you're sitting there watching him. It was 10 minutes after this play happened, and he's still on the bench, and he's still emotional. He's crying about it. The impact on an individual, he is truly and genuinely a wonderful person. I mean, this guy has done it to his own self. He's turned his own life around, and he's one of the greatest receivers in the game.
Privilege for us to see it. Stewart. Nice hole for James Stewart and hard running up to the 48-yard line. His wife, Melanie, watching Chris as he was at 9.99. Here was the way she saw the 1,000th catch for the touchdown. They went through an awful lot of bad times together. We'll get into that as we go through the rest of the night. But they stuck it out. Chris turned his life around, as Paul said. It's been wonderful ever since. Stewart crosses midfield.
There's only one suggestion that I will make to Chris, though, when I see him. If you're going to hug and kiss your wife after something like, take your helmet off. Right. I mean, don't whack her in the mouth with the chin, bar. You know, daughter. I mean, you talk about you think he was in just a different state.
Well, you remember, he follows all the rules now. If you take your helmet off, it's a 15-yard penalty.
Congratulations, my friend. That's unbelievable.
And thanks for doing it in front of us, Chris. That's great. Stoney Case Throws over the middle, Herman Moore. They'll pick up about 5. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcott. Solly?
Yeah, Mike, approximately 15 minutes ago, the doctors took Charlie Batch into the locker room, and I was told he was going in to be fitted for a protective pad to protect those bruised ribs. Well, 15 minutes, that's an awful long time to change a pad. As you can see, he's not come back out. Stoney Case is in the game, and I think it's rather doubtful that we'll see Charlie Batch return to this football game, Mike.
All right, Solly, I know you'll keep us updated on this. The career numbers on Stoney Case. He has thrown 40 passes this season in relief of Charlie Batch. 3rd and 3 here. Case completes it to Larry Foster right at the sticks.
Well, we've seen Stoney Case, Joe, and he's thrown 3 or 4 balls, and he hasn't thrown a ball over 6 yards yet, and I don't think they're going to really let him unload with this ball. Well, just give the ball to James Stewart, take the short passes.
I think if the Vikings defense gives him the opportunity to go down the field, they will. But right now, he looks like he's throwing the ball very efficiently. Now he gets Larry Foster out on the sidelines. Larry doesn't quite get upfield enough, has to dive back, and it's going to be close as far as where they spot it. Tyrone Carter in the coverage.
Case has thrown 4, connected on all 4. Just shy, and a big decision here for Gary Moeller. He's not going to get that many opportunities, do you think?
No, I don't. And I think if you have a back like James Stewart, I think you use this guy. He's a hammer. Corey Schlesinger gives you a big guy up front. They can run the ball well. And defensively, the Vikings aren't real big on the edges with Talance Sawyer and John Randall.
Tell you one thing, Gary Moeller didn't even hesitate. And I like that in the coach.
Got 2 tight ends in the ball game.
The worst thing the Lions could do would be to spend a lot of time at the line of scrimmage. Get your big guys up there, get them ready to go and fire.
Quarterback keeper in Stoney Case appears to have more than enough for the first down.
Stoney Case on the keeper.
You can find out who's going where in college football on Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, our College Football Tonight Bowl Selection Special. Join Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit. They'll have the announcement of this year's bowl pairings in college football.
And the Lions come in with 4 wide receivers to spread the defense of the Vikings out.
Now they go with 5.
Got them all.
And Stoney Case will go to the shotgun. Case down the middle, intercepted. Right into the hands of Kyler Wong, the middle linebacker. There is a marker down. And a terrible underthrow by Stoney Case.
Personal foul. Offense number 73 with a face mask. Penalty is declined. First down.
It's the big rookie tackle, Stocker McDougal.
Yeah, but this was a terrible throw. He was trying to throw the ball to Desmond Howard going down the middle, and he didn't put anything on the ball.
Interception. First down.
Just floated it right down the middle. And Kylie Wong with a chance to shine. Right between the 5 and the 2. Part of St. Paul, Minnesota, one of the Twin Cities with Minneapolis decorated for Christmas. That's beautiful.
Well, now that Chris Carter has his 1,000th catch, time for Randy Moss to get one, I think.
Robert Smith drilled by Chris Claiborne.
The give is to Robert Smith.
Lions have to be shell-shocked right now. Their starting quarterback is gone. 3/4 of their secondary is gone, and they're down 14-0 at Minnesota. The good news just keeps coming.
You see Jim Zorn, the quarterback coach, sitting with Stoney Case and going over the picture. What he's going to say is if they're back that far, don't throw it up the field.
Culpepper. For Moss. Incomplete. incomplete. Darnell Walker was battling stride for stride.
Darnell Walker is 5'8". Randy Moss is 6'4". Look at the height advantage. Look at right there. You can see just the difference in their heights. Now, good hand fight. Good job by the officials letting the two guys battle. Randy does a terrific job of going up for the ball, but a lousy job of hanging on. He'll make 9 out of 10 catches like this. That was not difficult. And Walker almost winds up with an interception on the ground.
Matthew Hatchenden is the third wide receiver. They'll blow this one dead.
Chad. Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
One thing so far about Culpepper, that the longest completion he has is 9 yards. But that will change.
But it has. Well, he's had Randy Moss down the field twice, and another injury is not going to be good for the Lions.
Oh, man. And this is their all-pro pass rusher, Robert Porcher. They're taking a look at his left leg. Well, it is downhill for the Lions tonight. They may have jumped off sides. DeVries got an early start. Here goes Culpepper. Claiborne takes him down. Looked like Matt Burke was trying to make the smart play with a man off sides trying to snap the ball early.
DeVries on the bottom of the screen. He's looks like he moves. And look at Culpepper. He's looking out, and watch this here. You're going to see Culpepper looking, and here comes the ball. It was just heads up on his part to catch it.
Just a good thing he has a big body.
Boy, hit him in the chest.
Mitch Berger will punt to Desmond Howard, who's second in the NFL in punt returns. Won't get a chance at this one, and the Lions will have to start from the 20 after a 46-yard punt. 14-0. The Vikings are in control.
In 1951, Toyota introduced the Land Cruiser.
Donor Red McCombs brought back the 40th anniversary team this week. There's Jim Marshall, part of that incredible defense the Vikings had. Chuck Foreman, the great running back, wearing their original numbers. Alan Page, a Hall of Famer in 1988, has gone on to even greater things. Bates is the new running back, and he takes it up to about the 22-yard line.
You know, Mike, we're talking to Detroit. They really thought that they may be able, if they can keep some people healthy and on offense with Charlie Batch, they may be able to expose a little bit of this Minnesota defense. Joe, no one has really ever exposed him this year. I mean, I know they've got an awful lot of offense, but there are weaknesses in this defense.
Well, you know, but they haven't been exposed because of the explosive nature of what the offense can do.
Well, next week they'll play the Rams. Both of those defenses may be exposed. Stoney Case in a quarterback for Batch. Too high for Herman Moore, and he was being covered by Kenny Wright. And we're told that there has been a re-injury to the ribs of Charlie Batch, and that's awful news because he was in very tender shape all week.
Well, we saw the first hit of the game that he took to Lance Sawyer. The first hit, he winds up taking a shot going down.
But all through the warm-ups, he didn't really throw any balls. He threw a couple about 10 yards, and then when they got the teams together, he did not take another snap.
Cedric Irvin, number 33, is in for Detroit. Herman Moore and Stoney Case arguing with each other about where Moore should be.
Get over there.
Case scrambles. Throws complete to Larry Foster. And the improvisation will get them a first down. Robert Griffith, one of the best safeties in the league, makes the stop.
Well, this really was a heads-up play by Stoney Case. Look at this. He's going to run. He sees Tate, number 28, coming up in his face. So he just dumps it to the outside to Foster, and they pick up the first down. They just got to keep this ball away from Minnesota.
There is Carl Eller, 15-year defensive end. Red McComb said they almost ignored their history here for a while, but after he bought the team, that's changed. Too high for Stabline.
You know what? It isn't like Stoney Case hadn't had a chance to throw the ball, Joe. There's Red McCombs, the owner. And what a wonderful guy he is. Because Batch couldn't throw the ball until 2 days ago, so Stoney Case was able to throw some.
Of course, a big issue for Red is a stadium here, which seems like there's issues all over the league as far as stadiums go. Will they stay the Minnesota Vikings?
2nd and 10 for the Lions. Four-man rush. Screen. Great defense by John Burrow. Sniffed out the screen and was right in the middle of it. Monday Night Countdown every week at 7:30 Eastern. Mike Tirico and the gang review Sunday's top stories and preview the Monday night matchup. Then at 9, it's ABC's Monday Night Football with the Kansas City Chiefs taking on Drew Bledsoe and the New England Patriots. Lions 3rd and 7 at their own 40. Clock running, 6:40 and counting first half. Case throws underneath, short of a first down to Foster.
And this is one I don't believe you go for, even if it's a yard or so.
Considering all the things that have happened to them, really, Joe, they're not in that bad shape at 14-0.
No, and you know, Randy Moss lets a touchdown pass get away, which changes the score. You know, the Lions seem like the longer they can hang in here, the more confidence they might get.
And they've been coming after Jet. Now, you got to remember, Jet's been blocked twice this year, and so has the field goal been blocked twice. They've been coming right up the middle.
Walter stands inside his 15. Don't put much pressure on this time. Walters from the 6. Trying to get to the outside. Now cuts it back and can't reach the 10. 3-yard return after a punt of 48. And the Vikings, even though they're up 14-0, will start in a hole. Why not log on to NFL.com and vote for the Pro Bowl? There are the top 3 through December 8th. Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper, both of Minnesota, and Peyton Manning for 162,000. Vikings start from their 9. Culpepper, Moss, knocked away.
Alan Aldridge, nice defensive move.
Good linebackers with Aldridge, Boyd, and Claiborne on this club. And it was an excellent secondary. They're only missing 3/4 of them tonight because of injury.
They're all really big, too. Claiborne and Aldridge both go over 255, and Boyd's actually the smallest in the middle at 240.
But a wicked hitter. He made the Pro Bowl a year ago. Lions have always had a tradition of middle linebackers. 2nd and 10, Smith. To the 12. Chris Carter, although he's had that brilliant career early in it, was not all that productive when he played with the Philadelphia Eagles coming out of Ohio State. From 87 to 92, only averaged 40 catches a year. But from 93 to 2000, after he put his life together, he has caught more balls than anyone in the National Football League, averaging 94 a year, over 1,100 yards a year, and 11 touchdowns a year. And he hit 1,000 tonight. Third and 7. Culpepper scrambling. Throws out in the flat to his tight end, Johnny McWilliams, stopped in his tracks by Corwin Brown. Of course, the future of Chris Carter has been in doubt. He met with Dennis Green in private, said they reached a decision on next year, but they're not telling anybody.
I think he's coming back.
So do I, and so does Red McCombs, who just owns the team.
I just believe that the game means so much to him, and I think he means a lot to Dennis Green. And I think Coach Green wants him to be a part of this football team.
And he's got an awful lot of football left, that's obvious. Berger with a line shot. Howard makes the fair catch at the 25. Chris Carter was a 2-time All-American at Ohio State, but he'd been into drugs and alcohol since high school, problems that escalated when he was in Columbus. Then he took money under the table from 2 agents and nearly went to jail for covering it up. The incident was so bad, Ohio State banned him from his senior year. He went pro with the Eagles, had immediate success there, and even though he married his longtime girlfriend Melanie, his party lifestyle deepened. More time and more money, he said. He failed 2 drug tests in Philadelphia, and Buddy Ryan cut him. But to his everlasting credit, Ryan never divulged the reason, saying instead the now famous line, all he does is catch touchdowns. Case over the middle of Morton. He's got it out to the 43. When he left Philadelphia and his son Duran was born in 1991, Chris Carter said he remembered what growing up with one parent did to him and pledged it would never happen to his son. Later, he and his wife dedicated their lives to Christianity. He would later become an ordained minister. The drugs and alcohol disappeared from his life. Chris Carter is far more than a reformed addict. He has won numerous awards, including the top, the NFL's Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. His wife, Melanie, they stuck it out together and have turned it into something special. Herman Moore to the 48-yard line. His kids, Duran and Monterey, after catch number 1,000. Sometimes it takes a watershed event like the birth of a child to turn somebody's life around. That's what it took for Chris Carter. Now he is a role model for people in trouble. Case trying to get something on the board. Stabler diving for extra yardage and a flag down. That'll be a late hit.
And that's by Robert Griffith, just trying to be a little bit too aggressive on his 30th birthday.
In the meantime, the Minnesota Vikings 14-point lead, but they're not
Personal
putting...
foul, defense, number 24, unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And they are not putting any pressure at all on Stoney Case, and they're just letting him throw the ball short whenever he wants to throw. Here comes the hit by Robert Griffith. Right here, when he hits him in the head. He went helmet to helmet, and they called it. It's a good call.
You bring up the point that the Vikings have not been able to put any pressure on Stoney Case. What they're doing is they're spreading them out and really letting that large offensive line of theirs just line up and block the 4 guys rushing. I think Minnesota's going to have to come after him to create pressure.
Case, play action again. They've got him this time. Chris Hovan, the rookie out of Boston College, the first man through.
That's a 4-man rush. They ran a play-action pass, and when Stoney Case turned around, Hovan was there.
And did you see the first guy to jump up and celebrate with Hovan? It's John Randall. John Randall is so excited about the fact that Chris Hovan is playing in the middle because it allows him to get outside, which he really has come to like. There's the play action, just beats him right at the line of scrimmage. Jeff Hardings didn't stand a chance. There it is. There's the celebration from his buddy.
Hovan used to paint his face like John Randall when he was at Boston College. Now they're together with Minnesota. Jerry Rice, until tonight, the only man to catch 1,000 passes in the NFL. He has been joined tonight by Chris Carter. He'll be part of Chris Berman's halftime show, the Hyundai halftime show, our Sports Center in-game segment. And the other headline, Mike Mussina signing with the Yankees.
I promise you, Chris is still sitting there on the bench just thinking, what is happening to me?
Well, he keeps looking up at that sign that says 1,000 catches.
Case, the shovel pass to Mario Bates, not much, as the Lions are desperate to get back in this thing, down to 1 minute and 50 seconds and a half.
What the Lions should do now is let a lot of the time run off the clock. Try and get it down close to a minute, probably be about 1 minute and 5 seconds before you snap it. Let Gary Moeller's team get in position to give him an opportunity to try and kick a field goal and get some points on the ball. If they go in at halftime down 14-3, that's not real bad.
3rd and 16. From here, it would be a 51, 52-yard field goal try for Hansen. Pressure coming. Case, did Irvin catch it? No, he didn't. The official right on top of it. So now what will Gary Moeller do? Try for the long field goal or go on 4th and 16?
Well, Stoney Case, he was feeling Chris Hovan breathing down his neck, and he wanted to throw the ball, but he never got himself set to throw it.
Now, Jason Hansen, look at the career percentage from inside 50. He's 1 for 1 this year from outside 50.
This will be from 52. He's hit a 54-yarder this year.
You see what the official did? He came in and changed the ball because in the National Football League there are kicking balls now.
Hansen drills it. Perfect from 52, and the Lions are on the board. This ESPN NFL Thursday Night Special is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save. And by Toyota, more choices, better selection. Experience Toyota today. Glad you can join us on a Thursday night from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. The Lions wait until a minute 12 on the second quarter clock to get on the board, but they're only down by 11.
You know,
Bud Grant, the legendary coach of the Vikings. Remember all the times they played outdoors in the snow and the ice.
And looking at him right there, it looks like he's ready to step up on the sidelines and coach. That with the hat, the sweatshirt, all ready to go.
He's ready to go fishing. He's been fishing, and he looks good fishing. If fishing does that to you, I'm going fishing.
Hall of Famer.
But doesn't it kind of seem like the steam has gone out of everything? Carter gets 1,000 catches, and it just like...
It was a huge moment, and I think it did take the air out of this place.
They had a chance to keep it going, but Randy Moss let it slip literally through his fingers.
Troy Walters is the deep man as Hansen to kick it off. Crushes one. Walters 4 yards deep. He'll keep it there. In case you joined us late, you missed a bit of NFL history as Chris Carter reached the 1,000 catch mark. The corner of the end zone for a touchdown to join Jerry Rice in a very exclusive two-man club. His wife Melanie and the kids celebrating. Something he will never forget, and now he's starting to work on 1,100.
And by the way, that was a heck of a throw.
Yes, it was.
It was an excellent throw by him.
So the Vikings have a minute 12 from their own 15. Culpepper underneath. Not much from McWilliams. Looking toward the bench, see if they want to kill the clock or keep going.
Vikings have 2 timeouts left.
Four-man rush for Detroit. Culpepper underneath to Smith. Very dangerous in the middle of that field. Clock continues to run at the 38. First catch of the night for Smith, and Minnesota will use 1 timeout. They have 1 left.
When you've got this kind of an offense, you've got inside of a minute, and you're up like 14-3, up by 11 points, you don't stop. I mean, this team can score on every single play.
Well, I think what Detroit is doing to this offense is they're keeping everybody in front of them, which they have to do.
The standings, the importance of this game, particularly for the Lions. If they lose, they would drop 3 games behind Minnesota, and the race would be over, and the Vikings would clinch a playoff spot and move closer to home field advantage. They would be the first team in the NFL to clinch a spot in the playoffs this year.
You know what's kind of amazing? There was a little note this week. 8 and 4 teams after 12 weeks, or 13 weeks with the bye, but after 12 weeks, 8 and 4 teams in the National Football League. That's the most ever. There are 8 of them with 8 and 4 or better in the National Football League. I mean, that's incredible.
It's going to get out of the last week. Culpepper sideline to Moss, keeps the feet in and then drops out of bounds to stop the clock at the 48.
Well, style points aren't exactly as good as what Chris Carter does, but it was just as effective.
The Russian judge gives it a 3.5.
What's this? This isn't falling out of bounds. This is sitting out of bounds. Ready? Okay, I got it. Hello. Randy's got his own style.
At their 49.
36 seconds left. Need about another 20 yards to give Anderson a shot at it. 3-man rush this time. Culpepper again complete inside the 40. Matthew Hatchett makes the catch. Supernaw with the tackle. Culpepper says they want to kill it. And now pushing and shoving with the clock stopped at 20.
We talk about the poise and why Denny Green chose Dante Culpepper. You saw him rush to the line of scrimmage. And here he has poise in the pocket to make the play. And after Matthew Hatchett catches this, he gets to the line of scrimmage. But before he snaps the ball, he looks where all his receivers are set just to make sure they're still and then killed it.
An excellent discipline by the rest of the team to get set that quickly. Carter, 1,001, dives forward to the 32. One timeout left for the Vikings. They'll take it with 12 seconds to go. And here's Dennis Green with more of the qualities of Dante Culpepper.
What he wants to do is be champion. He would love to win a bunch of world champions, not just one. He wants to win a bunch of them because that's his total mindset. What he brings to that mindset is tremendous athletic ability. He's a very big, a very physical player. He throws one of the most beautiful passes you've ever seen. And I think he's the type of guy that you love to work with because you know he wants to be the best.
And in his first year as a starter, 26 touchdown passes, ties him with Peyton Manning for #1 in the NFL. What an amazing first year.
You know, there's no timeouts left for Minnesota. And what happens is they have 12 seconds on the clock. They still have time, Joe, to go to the end zone with one play.
Well, what I would do here is,
sideline.
well, it'd be tougher to go to the sideline. You only have 5 yards to get the first down. I'd look for Chris Carter on one of those little turn routes of his, possibly. Get him the ball, jump up, and then ground it, because then you would be able to have the opportunity to kick a field goal a little closer.
Three-man rush, plenty of time. They go sideline. Moss made the catch at the 22.
Now that was something from the teacher.
You see a lot of Chris Carter in Randy Moss. Around the side. Look at it. Let's go. Let's go. Watch his throw to the outside. Randy Moss. The catch. Control. Out of bounds.
Now this gives Gary Anderson a much better shot at it. This will be 40 yards. Anderson, the all-time leading scorer and field goal kicker in NFL history. He's having a great year, and it continues. Gary Anderson has hit 21 of 22 field goal tries this season, and the Vikings get their 14-point lead back. Nice 2-minute drill by Dante Culpepper.
Nice job of managing the clock and the timeouts. Watch the things that Randy Moss has learned from Chris Carter. There it is on the sidelines. You see him keep the feet in, and remember, just having control. Now here he is on the sidelines on the right side. Feet in. Really, plant your feet first, then go out and extend to catch the ball.
Randy Moss really couldn't have come into a better situation. A veteran team with a guy like Chris Carter who was willing to give him all the knowledge that he's accumulated over those seasons.
I don't want to take anything away from Chris Carter, but I believe that Randy Moss was more mature when he came into this game than a lot of people gave him credit for. He knew he wanted to be a star. He knew he could dominate in this game. He just happened to be in the perfect situation. Strong-arm quarterbacks he had with both Randall Cunningham as well as Jeff George, now Dante Culpepper.
Anderson to kick it away, only 4 seconds on the clock, and he'll squib it. And the Lions fall on it at the 38-yard line, bodies flying, and the clock has yet to move. Melanie enjoying the night with her husband, Chris.
You know, it looks like you look in their eyes of both of them, and this happened a long time ago, about a half hour or so ago, and it's almost like they really still don't believe that it's happened. And I don't think they're going to really feel the emotional impact until maybe sometime tomorrow, the next day.
Yeah, I think it might start sinking in then, and a watershed event for them to know and look back at what has happened over the course of their lives together. This is certainly one of the crowning achievements for it.
There's a safety, Randy Moss, now playing defense.
Case will have one last try. Throws short. Herman Moore with the lateral to Foster. The hook and ladder, they keep it going, and now the Vikings come up with a football on the last play of the first half. Chris Carter walking toward Melanie. Some night for that family. That's the end of the first half. The score, the Vikings 17, the Lions 3. Now let's join Chris Berman for SportsCenter in Game, the Hyundai halftime show.
All right, Michael, thank you very much.
And have millions of people watching. When I do play, you know, like when I play in tonight's game, I'm one game.